papers. Okay. So what we have done so far is we have completed 2 assignments. Have we completed? Yeah, we have completed 2 assignments. Yeah, I think we have completed 2 assignments. Yeah, 2 assignments done. Marking almost done. Test done. Okay. This test, yeah, almost done. Banyak juga lah, but not bad. I'm almost done marking that. And your quizzes next week, we will do 2 quizzes. Okay, from Monday chapter 7, 8, and Thursday 9, 10, 11. Okay, so remember next week, next Monday, we are going to do quiz number 1, which is chapter 7, 8, and then we are going to do quiz number 2, chapter 9, 10, 11. Okay, 9, 10, 11. And then we have your group presentation, which is 30%. You are supposed to submit it. I'm not sure when, but I think under dalam your Google Classroom. Let me just see your Google Classroom. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Google Classroom, classwork. Have I given you one assignment, one individual assignment, or 2 individual assignments? Okay, so your group assignments needs to be submitted on the 28th of January. Okay, before 5 p.m. no extension. Okay, so your report and your YouTube link need to be submitted on 28th of January. Okay, I will create a Google link later on, and then you can just submit it inside that. Okay. I am not sure. Have we done how many? I mean, I know we have done 1 test, we have done 1 assignment. You need to do 2 assignments. Have I given you 2 assignments or 1 assignment? Can anyone remind me on this? Sophia, have we done 1 assignment or 2 assignments?
I think it was just 1, sir.
Just 1. Okay, so we are going to do 1 more lah. Okay, no problem. I will create a question for you, and next week I'll give you your another individual assignment. So what we need to do this semester is 2 written assignments. Okay, 1 done on the way, another 1. So that's done. 1 test done. 2 quizzes next week, and 1 group assignment which is due on the 28th of January. Okay, so there's no final exam for your paper for this subject, so that's a good thing, I think. Okay, so that's a good thing. So once you're done with the group assessment, and you're done for this semester. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. So let's start with the last chapter for today. Inshallah, today we will complete 6th of January. We will complete chapter 11. Okay. So chapter 11 is, I would say, rather simple, rather straightforward. We are going to talk about file systems. Okay. File systems in operating systems. And if you have taken this course in your diploma computer science, you have already actually gone through this this subject, because this topic, because this topic is similar to the diploma level operating systems as well. Okay, so we are going to talk about file system. What are the concepts? How do you access file systems, and what are the types, and the disk directory? What is the difference between a disk and directory, and attributes, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's begin with today's. Okay, so today, inshallah, we are going to do what is the file systems concept, how do you access the files, and what is the difference between a disk directory structure, and mounting, sharing, and protection. We are going to randomly, or we're just going to cover it on the surface level. Okay, so by the end of this, you should be able to explain functions of a file system. So why we need to understand, why does the file system exist, and why does the operating system, or what does the operating system do with a file system. And we need to, you will be able to describe the interface. How does the interface look like? I'm sure all of you know how the interface looks like. You have used it day in, day out. The interface looks like simple. How does the file look like? Where is the file stored? There is a folder, there is a partition. So these are the interfaces which are available. And you discuss, how do you share a file? How do you lock a file? Okay, we are not going, okay, that means locking means one person or one user uses the file, and the same file cannot be used or cannot be updated by another user. And we are also going to explore file protection. That means how does a user, administrator, create username passwords for a certain particular file or a certain particular folder. All right. Okay, so in a file concept, okay, so first we must identify what is a file. Okay, so look at point number 3 here. The contents of a file is defined by the creator. So whoever creates the file defines the content of the file. So the content of the file can be text, can be a source file, that means a source code, or can be just simply an exe file, or what we say is an executable file. Okay, if it's a text file, it's similar to your Word document file. That means you only have characters inside, you have certain text, and you have all text-based and numerical, or what we say as alphanumerics only. As compared to a source file, yes, a source file is something like, you have your Java source file. Okay, these files cannot be, it can only be edited, updated, but in order for you to actually execute this file, you need to have a compiler, and then you can execute this file, and these files will be transformed into something else, will be transformed to an executable file, and you can use it, or you can perform certain operations. Unlike executable file, an executable cannot be updated. Okay, you cannot directly update it, you cannot directly edit it. You have to create a new executable file, okay, through the use of source file or the source code file. Okay, so if you are doing, let's say, C++ or Java, you have an executable file once you compile the file. So once you compile the file, you have an exe file. And if you want to change the exe file, it's not possible. You have to recompile your source code or source file to get a new executable file. In a text-based file or Word document file, you can just simply open it, edit it, delete it, edit more, okay, increase the characters inside, and then save it. Okay, text file or Word document file cannot be executed. It can just be, it's just merely for keeping information, keeping text, keeping alphanumeric characters. All right, so the data inside a particular file can be numeric, can be characters, can be binary. Okay, and also we have another type of file which is also called a program file. So a program file is some sort like a, what we say, application file, whereby it only does what it's supposed to do. Example, you have a PowerPoint program file. So a PowerPoint program file is to open up the PowerPoint program. That's it. You cannot do anything else. You cannot edit the file. So if you want to edit, you have to go way back to the source code and change it, and then you recompile it. Only then you can do it. But if you are given the program file itself, then you cannot do anything else. Okay, so that is the difference between a program file and a data file. A data file you can update as many times as you want, and once you save it, that's it. You can and these data files cannot be executed, but can only be updated, edited, and you cannot execute. It's not meant for execution. It's just merely meant for keeping records. Okay, and then they say here is a contiguous logical address space. Contiguous means each files are stored inside the memory, hard disk, or your thumb drive, or inside the RAM in a contiguous format. That means each files are given a special location, and the locations of the files are side by side. Okay, they are not scattered around the hard disk or scattered around the memory. It's all located side by side. And what are the file attributes? Well, each file has an attribute. What does attribute mean? Attribute means it's basically a unique definition or a unique ID given to a file. That means if you take example yourself, that means what is your unique attribute? Your unique attribute is obviously your IC number. Each person has a unique IC number which is given to them. Okay, your IC number cannot be the same as mine, and my IC number cannot be the same as yours. Your DNA profile is unique to only yourself. So a file attribute has certain attributes, certain definitions, certain properties that define that particular file. So it has, by default, the operating system provides name, identifier, type, location, size protection, date, time, user identification, and all of these information refer to only one particular file. Okay, well, so the question is, what kind of file? Again, if you go back to the slide before this, it refers to a data file or also a program file. So what can a file do? What can a file actually do? Well, you can create a file. How do you create a file? Well, obviously by using the right-click option. You can right-click, new folder, new file. You can do that. You can update a file. How do you update the file? You just simply open the file and you keep updating the file. And how do you delete the file? Simple. Right-click, delete, or you just click on the file and press on the keyboard the delete button. And you can upload the file. That means you can move a file from one location to another location, drag and drop. Okay, you can move a file from location in your hard disk to the cloud server. You can open the file, you can close the file. Okay, these are all operations provided by the operating system through the file system management. Okay, so the operating system, so the function of the operating system in this case is to handle what we say as the file system management. So what does the file system management do in an operating system? The file system management does anything and everything relating to a specific file, to any files, to any program files. So these are the jobs of the operating system. Okay, so the operating system has a few functions. One, it takes care of the memory. One, it takes care of the CPU. One, it takes care of the hard disk. So there's also another one which also takes care of the file system management. Okay, so these are the things that can be performed by a file system or file operation. So how do you open a file? Well, simply like how I explained to you, you just open the file, you right click, you double click on it, and the file opens. So each file, or how does the operating system keep track of where the particular file is? It has a file table, okay, or file allocation table. Okay, so I'm sure you have heard of this FAT, FAT32, FAT16. So these are how the operating system keeps track of where a particular file is. So what does FAT32 mean or FAT16 means? FAT16 and FAT32 are two different types of file systems that the operating system is to handle. That means each file, if you're talking about 16, each file is allocated 16 megabytes of space, each particular file. That means whatever you do, whatever file size it has to be within 16 and 16 and 16. Let's say you create a file. It's a very big file. Let's say you download or let's say, what do you say? You do a movie, a video, and you want to save it. So this file is as big as, let's say, 1 gigabyte. So if you are running at FAT16, that means the files will be saved at 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16 until it comes to 1 megabyte. But the user only sees one file, which is 1 gigabyte. But actually, behind the screen, the operating system creates 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16 until it reaches 1 gigabyte. If you're talking about FAT32, same thing, 32, 32, 32, 32, 32 until you come to the end of 1 gigabyte. So that is what it means by FAT16, FAT32. That is why certain files cannot be opened in 32, cannot be opened in 16. So if you are having, let's say, you are having a PC, your laptop runs on FAT16, this is the older one, and you want to copy that particular file into a FAT32, sometimes you might have problem. But normally 16 to 32 is not a problem because you're getting a bigger space. But if you have a bigger space into a smaller space, now that's a problem. Okay, it's simply because you have a file size of even, let's say, 500 megabytes. Okay, and you are storing it in your PC at FAT32. So when you copy the same file into another hard disk, which the hard disk runs on FAT16, now you have to restructure that file into 16 slots, into slots which has the size of 16. Previously, automatically, the operating system in the previous machine, it has slotted the file into 32, 32, 32, 32 until 500 megabytes. But now, in a different situation, in a different machine, you're taking the same file, you have to readjust, restructure the file into 16. All right? So some operating system, the older operating system, cannot do this. It cannot automatically restructure these files from a 32 to 16. It cannot do that. Okay? So then you have a problem in opening the file. And the file, you get messages like the file is corrupted and this and that, so many things. Okay? Cannot be opened. All right, so that is the problem. So you have to get another program. You have to download another program to restructure a 32 back to 16. But if you're looking at from 16 to 32, you shouldn't have any problem. Okay, and then you also have file open count. So the operating system keeps track of the number of times a particular file has been opened. Okay, this is very important if you're having multiple users to your PC. So the operating system will keep track of how many times the file was opened, by whom the file was opened. Okay, and it also keeps track of the location of the file, where is this file, and it also keeps track of the access right, the protection. We'll come back to that later. That means who can actually open this file, who can actually edit this file, who can only view this file. Okay, there are certain conditions. You want to allow users to only view. For example, if I have a Google storage, a Google Drive, I only want my students to view, so that I can set the permission only to view. Or maybe I want them to update something, so I can allow them to update. Or maybe I want to only allow them to update only to a certain period of time. Also possible. Okay, so these are the conditions allowed by the operating system in opening a file. Okay, so you can also have a locking file system, meaning to say if one user is having it, another user cannot look at it. Okay, so it's like a shared lock. Okay, there are two conditions. One is the shared lock and one is exclusively locked. A shared lock system is whereby you allow the same file or the same file to be simultaneously viewed by others, like the Google Drive. Everyone can view at the same time, but you can also put additional features there. Shared but no update. That means just look. Or shared update. That means everyone can see, everyone can update at the same time. Okay. Or you can do an exclusive lock. Okay. Exclusive lock is you can look but you cannot update it. Okay? You cannot write on it. Okay. And you can also put a mandatory a mandatory access. Access is denied depending on locks held and requested, meaning to say yes, you cannot open the file, but if you request to open the file, you are allowed. You may be allowed to. Okay, so this is also done by the operating system. That means, not to say it does not allow you. Yes, it allows you, provided there is a request from the user. Okay, so advisory is the process can find out status of log and decide what to do with it. Okay, this is the on the operating system part, whereby it can find out, it can list down to the administrator which files are locked and who has requested for it, and decide to do what next with it. Okay, so these are certain conditions associated with file locking system under the operating system. Okay, so in order for the operating system to access a particular file, there are two methods in how they access it. The previous old method was sequential. That means it has to read one after another. That means you have to find, let's say you're locating for you, the user wants to locate file number 4, then inside the hard disk. So the operating system will look from file number 1, 2, 3 until it comes to the last, the file of interest. So this is the programming code for it. But now mostly it's direct access. So if the user requests to locate file number 5, automatically straight the operating system can go to file number 5. But the sequential access is how you in the older days you have your tape recorder, your tape, your black tape, okay, where you listen to music. Whenever you want to listen to music number 5, you have to listen. To music number 1, 2, 3, 4. Only then you can reach music number 5. Okay, it has to go through a particular sequence. If you're looking at a direct access, it's like you're accessing your CD, your thumb drive. Straight away you go to file number 5, double click on it, and voila. So those are the access methods provided. And how does the directory structure look like? A simple directory structure of an operating system looks like this. Each directory can hold a particular file. I'm sure all of you know this. Directory, it also means a folder. So each folder, each directory can hold one particular, a minimum of one file, or what we say here is file n. That means it can hold multiple number of files in one directory, okay, one folder. So you can have X number of files in one particular directory. Let's say you do a directory based on the semesters. Semester 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in each semester folder directory, you have multiple files. It's okay. It's allowed inside the operating system under the file system. Okay. So how does the directory structure, this structure looks like? By default, the structure inside the disk or your hard disk is what we say raw. That means it's just open. So you can, the operating system can allow to do partitions. What is the meaning of partitions? Partitions is whereby the operating system has to divide the size, the space requested by the user. Let's say, for discussion's sake, your size of your hard disk is 1 GB. So you can request the operating system to do it in 2 partitions. Partition C, 500, partition D, another 500. Okay, so you can use it. That means you can store all the programs of the operating system in C, and maybe your backup is in D. All right. So these partitions can be used for raw without a file system, or formatted with a file system. That means if there's any need to format your PC, you can only you can automatically just update C, but your D is your partition D remains the same. Okay, and each of these will have its own volume. So what is the volume? Volume is the partitions, or you can say volume is the partitions heading. So volume C and volume D. So it's a special name given for the system. Okay, so this is how your this hard disk looks like. Okay, so this is one hard disk divided into 2 partitions, and normally the first partition is where the operating systems are kept, and these are your backup files. Okay, your Word document files, anything to do with your backup files are normally here. Okay, or if you do not want this, you can always just do one big partition. no problem, no issues. The only problem, if anything happens to your files, then they are disappeared, because at least here they are stored in a different location. And if you reformat this, you have to reformat the whole partition, and obviously your file systems will disappear. Okay, so what can the file system do? Again, you can search for a file. How do you search for a file? Control F. How do you create a file? Right click. How do you delete a file? Right click, delete, or just click on the file, press your keyboard. How do you list a directory? You go into File Explorer, you press the File Explorer, you can see all the files inside your PC. You click on drive C, partition C, you see all the files. Simple. How do you rename a file? Right click, rename the file. How do you transverse the file? Okay, there's a certain command. What does the transverse mean? Transverse means you edit the file, but you keep the file. Sorry, you edit the file, but you delete all the contents, but yet you keep the file. It's simply like this. You have a Word document file. Inside this Word document file, you have 10 pages of something, of written assignment. So transverse means you open the file, you delete all the contents, you save the file. Okay, so these are transversing the files. So why do you do transverse? Why do people want to do transverse file? Well, transverse files are very, very useful if you want to keep updating something. Let's say you want a file to only keep the recent temperature of the day. So you do a transverse command to only keep the recent temperature of the day. So whenever you want to find out the recent temperature of the day, you just go to that particular file and you can get the recent temperature of the day. Okay. So these are grouping. Okay. All right. So you have the level of directory, as I explained just now. The basic structure is one directory, one folder. One directory, one folder. So these were the initial part of operating systems in the 80s or in the 70s, where you have one directory, one file. That means in one directory, you can only have one file. That's it. You cannot have more than one file. So the problem with this was you can have naming problems, because you can have the same file in different directories. Let's say inside test, you have file name 123, and inside data, you have file name 123. So if you search for file name 123, you will get two files. So which was the right one? So you are not sure. Okay. And you will have grouping problems if you want to find out the number of, let's say, PDF files. So how do you do that? You are unable to do that because each of the files are stored separately in separate folders. So it's very difficult to find out the grouping of each file. Then we moved on to the two-level directory. So what's the two-level directory? Each folders are separated based on the user type. Okay, the user type. So for example, like this. So you have, let's say when you're on your PC, you have two users. One is the admin user, one is yourself. So the admin will have a different set of folders. But these folders can be the same. That means the admin can also have a My Document folder, can have Pictures folder, can have Videos folder. And the user 2 can also have My Documents, Pictures, and Videos. So in any situation, user 1 will only see their files only. User 2 will not see what user 1 has. User 3 will not see what user 1 and 2 has, and user 4 will not see what user 1 and 2 and 3 has. Okay, only the administrator can have the advantage of seeing what are the contents of each particular folder based on their users. So the problem with a two-level directory is you would have the same folder in different types of users. But one thing good about this is each user can design or can create its own directory, its own folder based on what is required by them. Okay. So you can have the same file, the same folder in different users, different types, like how we have here. User type or file directory 0, A is also present here, here, and here. But it's easily differentiated because it comes from different types of users. Okay, and it's efficient for searching, because if you are here, you can only search for here only. You will not search for this. Only the administrator can search for the files based on the types of users. But you cannot group. That means, let's say in this folder, you have PDF files. So if you want to find out the number of PDF files, you can do that only for your user. You cannot find out what are the total number of PDF files inside the system, because each level are differentiated based on the user type, based on the users. And then you have the tree structure directory. A tree structure directory is almost similar to its advanced level of D2 level, but it allows you to create a folder inside a folder. Okay, a folder inside a folder, a folder inside a folder. Okay, so this is what is happening. I'm sure you have done all this. So this is the latest one. You can create a folder inside a folder inside a folder, and you can create shortcuts, meaning to say this file can be created a shortcut, and you can link that shortcut back to the folder itself. Okay, so this is quite simple. This is, I'm sure you are using this now. Okay, so you can create a folder inside a folder. Let's say you create a folder called semester October 2021. You create another folder, a folder called CSC520. You create another folder, week 1, you put all your assignments, all your notes. Week 2, folder week 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can have a folder inside a folder inside a folder. So this is tree structure. A cyclic graph directory is simply by creating a shortcut. How do you do a shortcut? It's very simple. Let me show you. So a shortcut is something this. So you see here, I have all short. Can you see my desktop? Okay. So these are shortcuts. So this is actually located. This file is actually located somewhere else. So if you were to look at the properties, okay, it's located somewhere else. Okay, it's located somewhere else. But I've created a shortcut. So any part of any part, I just click on it. The actual file is inside this location. It's under C, Program Files, Google, Chrome application. This is where the file is. But I've created a shortcut, and I pasted the shortcut inside on my desktop. So I just double click on it, and automatically it goes through my my system and opens this particular file. So where is this? What do you call this? This link located? This link is located inside my desktop. So as you can see inside the desktop, these are the files which are available. This is a shortcut. So when I click this particular shortcut, I will go back to my actual location, and I can I can open the actual file. So this is what it means by, where am I? Here, a cyclic graph directory. So a general graph directory is almost the same as a cyclic, whereby we have multiple folders we have a few folders in another folder inside a folder, and all pointing to the same file. So it's also looking at the shortcut, as I showed you just now. All right. So basically, this is how a particular file system looks like. Okay. So you have each file system. Okay. You have each physical file system. Physical is actually the actual location of the particular file, and you can do any transaction to this particular folder. That means you can view, you can request to see the number of folders, the number of files. How do you do that? Is simply by clicking your file explorer. You click here, and you can see all the files available. Okay, so if I click here 520, I can see all the files available. And where is it located here? So this is Okay, so I can click here. Okay, my PhD student, I can click here. Oh, this is his progress. I can click here, documents. Okay, everything is here. Okay, everything is here. And let's say I click my MBA student. Or these are their assignments. These are their what do you say? These are their results. Oh, let's see the results. Oh, result kat sini. Oh, tak boleh tengok result dia. Okay, so these are the results. You want to see your results? Oh, the results are not here. Okay, so these are what are these pictures? Oh, these are all images of something. I don't know what are these. Okay. Oh, see, I also keep a folder called Tesco. What is this Tesco B? Probably. Oh, these are my Tesco vouchers. Okay. Are you all there? Can you all hear me? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. It'll be nice if you can respond every now and then, because I do not want to talk to myself. Hello. Hello. Are you all okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. You sound very sad. Is there any problem? Hello. Is there any problem with all of you? Sophia, are you okay? Faisal, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Fadli, are you okay? Aida? Aina? Najiha?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Have you all had breakfast? Have you all watched Spider-Man? Have you all watched Venom?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You have watched Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. Adila respond. Sophia, have you watched Spider-Man? James Bond? Matrix? Venom?
I've watched Spider-Man and Venom.
Okay, good. All right. Faisal, have you watched anything? What was the latest movie you watched? No, Faisal tak tahu. Anyone else would like to comment on Matrix? Aina? Aina, have you watched any latest movie?
Jarang lah, sir.
Jarang. Okay. What else? Najiha, have you watched any latest movie?
No, sir.
No. Sophia, would you like to comment on Spider-Man?
It was very good.
It's a very good comment. Fadli, any movie you watched recently? No. Aida? No. Let me just talk to you for a while. Nasrul, are you there? Intan Sofrina? No. Anyone want to say anything? Amira? Amira Izati? Hani Shakira? Ali? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You're there. Hani, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Kenapa lambat jawab? Mic rosak. Sorry.
Mic, sir. No?
Penat? Can you hear me? I need Shakira.
Yes, sir.
All right. What are you doing there? Okay. No. It's okay. I understand. All right. Let's continue. Where was I? Okay. Right. So, how are the file systems laid out? That means you have what is the hierarchy lah. You can say what is the hierarchy. So you have your application program. Okay. Application program is your program lah. PowerPoint, Excel, Word, all those things. And then you have the logical files of it. So these logical files are very, very important. You cannot delete it. Once you delete it, the files cannot be opened. And then you have your file organization module. Where are these files located? And you have the basic file system, input, output control, and the devices. So the devices is your mouse, keyboard. So this mouse and keyboard is where, or the monitor is where from the application. That means once you click a particular, a particular program, that means from the application program, dia akan cari the logical file. In the logical file, dia akan cari the file organization module, basic file system, input output control, and dia akan appear in your screen. So this is how the file system looks like. Okay. So what am I trying to show you here is basically what happens when you double click your PowerPoint exe file. Okay. What happens from there? It means from the time you click until it appears on the screen, this is the process. It goes through from your application to your logical, to your file organization, basic file system, input output control, and your devices. So this is the flow of how one file is being opened. Okay, it's being opened. All right. So now we look at how files are being saved inside your hard disk. So there are a few methods. Method number one, contiguous allocation. Okay, so this is how contiguous allocation means. This diagram kat sini is your hard disk. Okay, so example, you have your directory here. So the operating system, this directory is called the file allocation table. What is a file allocation table? File allocation table is for the operating system to know where is a particular file. So example, file count. It starts at location number 0, length 2. So 0 or 1, 2. So this is how it is. Where is it? File TR starts at 14, length is 3. 14, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, it's contiguous. That means each file locations are side by side. So file F starts at 6, size 2 or length 2, 1, 2. Okay, it's taking 6 and 7. It's not taking 6 and 8. 6 and 8 is not contiguous. Okay, it has to take in contiguous allocation. So you have next one is you have the linked allocation. Where is linked allocation? Okay, linked allocation is similar to this, whereby you have the start directory. There is the start. It starts at location number 9, and then each location dia akan simpan the location of the next one. Okay, so 9 keeps the location of the next, or it's pointing to the next one, which is 9 is pointing to 13, 17, and 17 is pointing back to, and it's 25. So 1, oh sorry, so 9 is pointing to 1, 1 is pointing to 2, sorry, 1 is going to 2 here, and then 2 is pointing to -1. Okay, so it's pointing, it has a pointer inside it, and these pointers will point to where the next file is. So sorry, I made a mistake just now. Okay, so 9 is pointing to 16. Sorry, what is this? 16, yeah, 16. 16 is pointing to 1, and 1 is pointing to 2, and 2 is pointing to 25. And if once it reaches 25 and it has -1 inside it, -1 means that it is the end of file. So that's how it is for linked. So this is file allocation table. It keeps track of all the files where it starts and where it ends. Okay, our next one is the index one. How does the index look like? The index keeps the addresses of all the files linked to one particular file. So this file's name is zip. So the index is 19. So the starting location is number 19. So number 19, their file is now kept inside 16, inside 1, 10, 25, -1, 1, 1. -1 means these files are all empty. That means these files can be saved inside here, 9, can be saved inside 16, can be saved inside 1, can be saved inside 10, 25, and can be saved in 3 more locations. Kalau size file ni membesar, it can go into 3 more locations. So all of these are called index allocation. All of these file file numbers or file index are kept in one particular location only. So these are some description of it. Okay, this is how you calculate the free space management. Okay, so how do you translate this into terabytes and how do you translate it into bytes? Okay, this one you can read on your own. Next, we look at where is this? Efficiency and performance. Okay, like I mentioned just now, each file is stored contiguously. Each file can be only accessed by whoever has authority to access. Why is because of security wise, and why does the operating system keep each file in a contiguous allocation? So a contiguous allocation is much more faster than if you break down. So each files are always kept in contiguous allocation. Okay. The operating system also keeps track of performance of each particular file. The buffer size is also very important. So what is buffer? I'm sure you know this. When you download certain documents, these documents, before it's being saved inside your hard disk, it goes to inside a buffer location. So where is this buffer location? This buffer location is located inside your RAM. Okay, so it's kept inside your RAM. So the buffer size must be big enough to keep track of all the files that is downloaded. Once the size once the buffer is full, then it will take the size, or it will take the files inside the buffer and save it inside the hard disk. Okay, so some buffer will update its file synchronous. That means as you download the file is automatically being saved, or maybe it downloads first into your PC, into your buffer. Once it's completed downloading, then it will transfer to the hard disk. Okay, so you can see this when you download any particular file. Some files you can download. Let's say you're downloading a file from my Google Drive. If you cancel, it disappears. If you restart, it will restart from zero. But sometimes if you cancel and you restart, it will restart from the last location. Okay, meaning the file has been saved inside your buffer. Once you restart saving it, it will just continue from the last location where it stopped saving from. Okay, so that's the end of this chapter. Okay, chapter 11. So we have finished our syllabus for this semester. Again, let me remind you, next Monday we are going to do quiz, chapter 7 and 8, and Thursday we are going to do quiz chapter 9, 10, and 11. Okay, 9, 10, 11. All right. So remember, next Monday online, we're doing it online. Yeah, I'll give you the link. I think we're going to most likely we are doing it in UFuture. You just go into your UFuture Monday, chapter 7 and 8, and then Thursday, chapter 8, 9, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, so remember, quiz Monday, two quizzes next week, Monday and Thursday. All right. Okay, are you all okay? Do you have any questions to ask me? No.
No questions, sir.
Is it possible for all of you to open your cameras before? Because I don't think I will see you soon. So I want to see your face so that I know what marks am I giving you. So tahulah muka tu macam mana. Because I've not seen you since the beginning of time. How long have you been in UiTM? For 2 semesters ke? Ke 1 semester baru?
3.
Oh, 3 semesters dah. 3 semesters online.
Yes, sir.
So 3 semesters online. Okay, okay. So can you all open your screen and let me just look at your face? Wait, yes, I shall wait for you. Can all of you open your screen, please? Screen open. screen. Screen open. Camera open. Please. Hello, hello. Can you open your camera?
Can, sir.
Okay. Finally, I see you. What's your name? Isaac Muhammad. Nurul Aida. Okay, I can see you. Muhammad. What's your full name? Muhammad apa?
Muhammad Azlan, sir.
Azlan.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay, Azlan. Okay. Azlan, where are you from?
Perak, sir.
Which part? Ipoh ke?
Bagan Serai.
Oh, Bagan Serai. Najiha, apa khabar? How are you?
Khabar baik.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, Bagan Serai dan Aida, how are you?
I am fine, sir.
Very good. Anis, Shakira,
Yes, sir.
Masrisha. Alhamdulillah, nice to see all of you. Aina, Nadia. Oh, very good. All of you are having short hair. Baguslah. Azlan, I hope your hair is short.
Short, sir. Short.
Short, Bagus. Okay. So, inshallah, do you think next semester we are going to be in campus?
I hope so, sir.
I hope so too. Seriously, this is already. I like working from home, but yeah, I like to go to office too. Amalin, not Amalin. Lama tak nampak, memang tak pernah nampak pun. Okay, hi, how are you?
Hi,
Hi.
sir.
Hi, how are you? Where are you from, Amalin?
Ipoh.
Ipoh.
Yes.
Which part of Ipoh?
Tak adalah Ipoh sangat tapi area Cemor, Kelebang.
Oh, okay. I mean, we are quite close. I'm dekat Meru je. That's why I think I saw you that day, Cik Lama. Encik Adam, how are you, Encik Adam? Adam Fadli. Yes.
How are you? Fine, sir.
Your hair seems to be okay. All right. Okay. So, Adam, Azlan, Shakira, and Amalin, semua ni, you have never stepped in the campus before?
I just entered campus, sir.
Oh, yeah, Adam. Okay, Adam. So, Adam, when do you come into the campus?
Last Monday.
No, I mean, this is the first time, right? Why do you come into the campus? About your internet connection ke apa ke?
What, sir?
Kenapa you masuk college?
Oh, sebab no one is at home, sir. So I go into campus.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Where are you from, Adam?
Penang, sir.
Penang. Okay. Penang tak hujan tak apa. Okay lah. Okay. So ini first time lah you masuk campus ni?
Yes, sir.
So how's the campus? Okay.
Okay.
First day.
Now is fourth day in campus.
Oh, lepas cuti baru balik. Okay. Makan okay ke?
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Nurain, Syamimi, apa khabar?
Khabar baik, sir.
Allah sedihnya. Where are you from, Syamimi?
Taiping, Perak.
So macam Azlan, Fadli, Syamimi yang lain-lain, you have never physically seen each other?
Yeah.
Oh, you have never physically seen each other. So all of you have seen each other virtually only? Oh my God. How do you do group discussions online? Macam my group assignment ni macam mana you buat?
Discord, sir.
Oh, but how do you Macam how do you gang up together? Macam how do you macam Adam, macam mana you nak cakap dengan Azlan kat atas tu?
Discord sir, buka kamera.
Oh, okay. Itu je lah kan. That's the only thing you can.
Itu je lah yang boleh buat.
Okay. Alright. Adam, did you do your diploma in Tapah or somewhere else?
What sir?
Your diploma CS, did you do in Tapah or somewhere else?
Oh, I did my matric sir in Penang.
Oh, Penang. Azlan sama juga. Azlan, where are you from? I mean, before.
Bagan Serai.
I mean, you did your diploma ke matrix?
Tak, matrix.
In Bagan Serai?
Tak. Gopeng. Matric Perak.
Oh, okay. Syamimi?
I did my foundation in Dengkil.
Oh, Dengkil. Okay. Oh, so yang lain-lain ni no camera? Dan tak apalah. Alright, it's nice to meet all of you. Okay, I just wanted to see the faces nanti. Sekejap. Kena ambil gambar. Kena ambil selfie. Okay, show me your latest post. I nak letak dalam Instagram saya. Sabar. Okay. Oh, terus boleh cakap Instagram je terus buka semua kan. Aisyah semangat. Okay, peace Aisyah kawan. Alright, sekejap Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more time. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay. I will upload this picture in my Instagram. You tak payah add saya, you tak payah follow saya pun tak payah follow awak. Kalau terjumpa gambar dalam Instagram, then it's fine. Okay. I don't keep my students in my Instagram or my Facebook. So, no, I'm very naughty in my Facebook and Instagram.
Pasal nanti kami cari sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, remember next week, quiz, Monday and Thursday, and your group assignment due on the 28th. Okay, so I will provide you with the folder. You buat the report and you buat your YouTube link. Okay, YouTube link tu you buat. How do you do saya nak tanya siapa yang dah buat your recordings? Has anyone started or planning to do it this week, next week? Dah buat ke belum? Are you planning to do it?
Belum buat lagi sir.
Okay, Azlan, how do you plan to do it?
Mungkin buat video sendiri kot, buat explain part masing-masing, lepas tu combine macam tu kot. Okay,
that's one idea, that's one way. I mean, paling one of my student last semester they did their own Google Meet and then they recorded that and they submitted that and then they upload dalam YouTube. Macam tu lah. Macam buat class on their own lah macam tu. You can do that as well lah. Depends lah, however you want to do it, it's fine. Okay, alright. So nice meeting all of you for the second time. Alright. Sophia, are you there? I can see a plant behind you. Is that plant alive ke dah mati dah?
This one's fake. These ones are real, the one up there.
Today. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for attending my class. I hope to see all of you physically someday, somehow. Okay. Let's hope coming semester we are all able to go back to the campus. I know all of you like to be at home, but it'll be good that if we can go back to the campus as well, so that we can study physically and it'll be good for all of us. Okay. Thank you so much for attending my class, and do not forget next week we have 2 quizzes, and your due date of submitting this assignment, your group assignment, is on the 28th of January. Right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being here with me to dengar my bebelan for the whole semester. It was very enjoyable to look at the screen and talk to myself. I hope you got as much information from me. If you do not understand, please contact me at any point, any time. and I hope to see all of you someday somehow. Okay, so if you see me, if next semester, if we go back to campus, if you see me, please acknowledge me, and always remember there are two Imrans in campus, Imran Arif and Imran Jelas. Both of us bilik pun sebelah-sebelah. So yang Jelas itu dia, yang Arif itu saya. Always remember that. Okay, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Alright.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.